Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DutchRC channel for episode 2 in my Airplanes Sunday series or saga or something. Okay, in this video here we are going to be building or assembling rather this Dynam Primo airplane, high wing, trainer, bushplane, STOL plane. I got this from one from Banggood. I'll have a link in the description so you can check it out. And as I said, I will be building this airplane in this series. Now the building assembly of a plane like this is quite simple, but for beginners I'll also throw in some tips and tricks so you can build your Dynam Primo or maybe even other planes a little better, a little safer, more reliable, and yeah, that's it. And let's get to it. Oh, by the way, you might notice that the plane is already built. So I'll take it all apart again and then we'll go and build this plane. Here we go. For the first step in our build we will need 6 pieces, the two main wings. This plastic wing retainer, the spar that will fit into the middle of those wings, and the two Y splitter harnesses that come with the plane. Okay, here we go. First you stick this wing joiner into one of the wings, and it'll only fit in one way. Actually, let me show you this way. It won't slide into the groove in the wing at all. Don't try to force it in. The other way around, it slots right in. And again, it's in very securely, as you will see. Then you take the other wing and slot the wing joiner into that. And flop! Perfect fit, really very nice. And I have no issues with this at all, very nice. Okay, then you flip it all over. Take your plastic wing joiner and as you can see the pegs on this wing joiner are at an angle, so it will only fit in one way. Well, it will fit in the wrong way around, but then you'll have a spoiler on your plane, which is not what you want. So move it around and slot it in the right way. You might have to press the wings together a little and then it'll slide right in. Very nice. Now, as you can see, it has pulled the wings together a little. At the front of the wing there still is a little split in between the two wings. The fuselage will keep them together though. There are two plastic pegs over here which will slot into the fuselage, and then you'll have a snug wing assembly. Then you take the two Y harnesses and you join up the two shorter wires protruding from the wings, obviously brown to brown, yellow to yellow. Match them up with each other and obviously press them in securely. Takes a little bit of force. There you go. Okay, and for the second step in this build you'll need the fuselage itself. Alright, what we are looking at here is the top of the fuselage zoomed in, and over here you see a wire, the wire protruding from the front of the plane. This is your signal wire from the ESC. Now it depends a little on what radio system you use. I will be using a Futaba system. This is the receiver I'll use, a Futaba 7-channel fast receiver, and in my case the throttle will be on channel 3. So I'll plug that in right now. There you go. Then there, at least in my case, I've got this another Y harness going to the two tail servos, which is a little strange. You don't need this Y splitter harness thing. Maybe they added this so to prevent the cables from falling down into the fuselage and leaving you unable to get to them. But you simply pull that off. There, gone. Now the servo on the right side of the plane is for your elevator, and the left one is obviously then for the rudder. So you take the lead from the right servo, and in my case I'll use channel 2 for my elevator. So I'll slot it into channel 2 on my receiver. There. The left servo is for your rudder, and I'll use channel 4 for my rudder. So we'll slot that in as well. There you go. Now I hope that's visible, but there's a plate over here in front of the two tail servos, which has enough room for most receivers. You could stick the receiver on the bottom actually of your wing as well, if you prefer that. There basically are lots of options. So yeah, I'll go and install my receiver into the plane right now. Okie dokie, receiver in place, very nice. And the next thing you do is take your wing and connect up the two wires. Now in my case, the ailerons, the longer of the two wires, is channel 1. And I'll install my flaps, the shorter of the two wires, on channel 6. And after that you shove the cables on into the fuselage, and make sure you don't pinch the cables, otherwise the wing will not sit flush onto the planes. And like I mentioned, the front of the wing, hard to show you right now, has the two plastic pins, and you make sure those slot in to the front of the plane, and then you can press the back of the plane down. Then you take the two nylon bolts and run them into these holes. Regrettably I don't have free hands, but I'll do that off camera, and then I'll show you what that all looks like. Okay, done. One word of warning: don't over tighten those plastic bolts, nylon bolts I should say. Yeah, they stretch a little. You don't need to force them in at all, just until you feel a little more resistance, and that's it. And as you can also see, the split in between the two wings is gone by now as well. It fits flushly against the front window, which is nice. So yeah, that looks fine to me. Now what you could do now is connect up the flight lipo, your flight lipo, and check if all servos do work. I always like to do that. So you won't be finishing up the entire airplane and then find out that a servo fails or is misaligned. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to connect up your flight battery at this time and check if everything works as it should. Okay, for the next step we actually need a box of the plane, that the plane came in again. There you go. As you can see, I'm now using the box the plane came in as my work table. so I won't scratch up the wings. The wings also have a little bit of dihedral, so they are bent up a little. This way you won't bend them the wrong way around. Okay, what we'll do now is we will install the landing gear. There you go. This is the landing gear assembly. Now you want this thing to face forward. Like this. It's facing backwards. It doesn't even fit this way, by the way. You can't really do this wrong. But you fit it on down like that. Then you take the plastic piece that comes with the plane and simply slot it over the landing strut, like so. And is there a wrong way to do this? No, it fits one way, just like the struts themselves. Oh, it fits in very snugly. Okay, you'll need 8 screws to secure this down. And for that you need self-tapping 5mm kind of screws, I think. And these are the only self-tapping screws in the kit, so you can't get the wrong ones. And it's actually a good thing to use the supplied screwdriver. Ordinarily I'd say throw that screwdriver away, but in this case it prevents you from over tightening the screws, because this supplied screwdriver won't let you use a huge amount of force. So what I do is just like on the bolts holding on the wheels on your car, you simply screw them in a little in a star pattern, so to speak, and after that you tighten those down, and only a little. You just stop when you feel the screw giving you more resistance. Okay, main landing gear in place. Next thing to install are the wheels, the main landing gear wheels. Now this retainer over here, you have a little grub screw over here, black grub screw. You loosen it up a little. There is a Allen key supplied with the plane, by the way. Then you slide on the wheel to the axle. Then you replace that retainer with the grub screw and tighten that grub screw on down. Now it will probably take a few tries before the wheel is spinning freely. As you can see, mine is not, so I'll have to back this retainer off a little bit, but just give it a few tries and then you're set to go. By the way, the kit does come with some washers that you can put in between the wheel and this retainer. I won't be using those, but obviously you can. There you go. We now have something that almost resembles a plane. It's standing on its own 2 wheels, running freely. However, it is a tailless plane and that doesn't look right, of course. So let's solve that. Okay, to start with, we will install the control horn to your elevator over here, the black angular piece, and make sure it's curved to the front. I hope that's visible, but the part with the 3 holes in it should be facing forward, like so. And for this step you also need this plastic backing plate, which will go on the other side of the elevator, obviously. Then you need 2 screws, and I'll zoom into the collection of screws over here. Okay, you've got a choice of several screws you could use here, or could use. You've got 4 of these very long screws. You've got 2 spares actually. Those are meant to hold the horizontal stabilizer and rudder in place. So you don't need those just yet. Then you've got 6 of these self-tapping 2 centimeter screws, I think. Those are meant to hold the steering linkage together for your tail wheel. So we won't be needing those at this point either. You are left with 2 metric screws, and you actually don't get spares of those. So those are the screws needed at this point. Are they the same length? No, one is slightly shorter than the other. The short one you will use at the rear, at the back of the plane. So to hold the back of the control horn down. Why? Well, because this surface, the elevator, is slightly thinner at the rear than at the front. So just feed those screws on down. There are holes in the elevator already, and tighten them down into that other plastic piece on the other side of the wing. Okay, control horn in place. Now what you could do, and I have done that as well, is glue this control horn down to the foam as well with some CA glue. Why? Well, this is your elevator, right? Without an elevator your plane will definitely crash. So I really like this control horn to stay in place. So I've actually glued the control horn down, and this plate over here as well. Well, the last part will probably not do much, but well. Okay, so we've got that all said and done. Next thing I want to do is smooth out the bottom surface of my horizontal stabilizer a bit. As you can see, there's this carbon tube in the horizontal stabilizer, and it's recessed in there quite a bit, a few millimeters. So I'll run a stretch of normal household sellotape over this to smooth that out. So here we go. There, won't make your plane 100 times faster, but well, I like a little more efficiency. This way should help things out. Alright, next thing we'll do is install the horizontal stabilizer and the rudder onto the tail. We are zoomed in at the tail of our plane here. Now the first thing you want to do is wiggle these foam hinges up and down 10 times to loosen up the joint so you won't overstress your servo. Same goes for the rudder. Loosen that up a little as well. Then you take the horizontal stabilizer, feed this opening slot in the rudder around your elevator, and then set the elevator on down onto the plane like this, and feed the nose of your vertical stabilizer, this piece, yes, I need more hands for this, but feed that into the fuselage. Now, as you will see, things slot together perfectly, really. Yeah, very, very nice. And obviously it's not held down yet. I'll turn the plane upside down to show you how that's done. Alright, I have flipped the plane back on its back now. We are looking at the bottom side of the tail. Now at this point you need this plastic tail piece with the tail wheel assembly. Now this might be hard to see, but this bar over here, this horizontal bar, should line up with some tabs in this plastic piece that has the rudder control horn on it. So again, that metal piece should line up with it. If it doesn't, you might have to adjust this collar over here at the bottom of the plastic piece. Pretty easy, but make sure those line up. Now you simply now stick this plastic piece into the tail. And the manual says you could use glue over here. That is not needed at all. It is a very snug fit. There you go. It is now in place. Not completely seated actually, but again, this will not come out on its own. Then the longest screws you get with the kit go in over here, and those actually hold on the horizontal stabilizer and the vertical stabilizer. For the front one, the supplied screwdriver is actually a little short, so I'll use another screwdriver. Yeah. Okay, let's tighten those down. And then there is the simple matter of pushing this side plate with the control horn on it into the bottom of the rudder. Again, make sure that the plastic tab protruding on in, hard to show you, but if you have this plane, I'm sure you'll see what I mean. Make sure that aligns with the metal piece, so it actually controls your steering wheel as well. And then align it with the plastic, the foam. Okay, that's that. And at that point you need the other side plate provided in the kit, and press it into the foam on the other side of the rudder. Will only fit in one way, that's convenient. There you go. And then you need the three, you get 6 of those self-tapping, the longer self-tapping screws. And again, you are screwing into plastic, so don't overdo it. At the point you feel a little more resistance, you are done. Don't compress the foam. At this point you could link up these control links that run to the servos in the middle of the plane to these control horns, the one for the rudder and on the other side of the elevator. Now I'll give you one tip to make this setup a little more secure. Remember, especially your elevator is a lifesaver. If you don't have elevator control anymore, you're dead in the water. So what you do is you get a piece of fuel tube, which is used for nitro planes or nitro cars, a silicone tube, and clip off around 3 millimeters. There, then you have a silicone ring, so to speak, and then you stretch it over this clip and run it down to over here to the end of the metal threading. That way, well, I'll show you. Okay, it's actually harder to really show you than I had expected, with that rubber tubing being mostly transparent. But as you can imagine, that silicone tube is now around the clevis, holding it tight, holding it closed. There is no way this clevis is coming loose on its own, and that's what you want. So, simple piece of Fuel tubing, you don't need a lot, as you can see. Some planes actually come with these retainers already installed, which obviously is a very good thing. This plane doesn't, so please do that yourself. And the same thing goes for your ailerons. Yeah, just undo them. They have already been done in the factory, but just unclip them, put some fuel tube around the clevis, and then you're a much safer pilot. Okay, the last thing you want to add to the tail is the tail wheel, of course. So you simply slide it on over here. Then there's another retaining collar, just like on the main landing gear. Somehow this one comes with a little screw instead of a grub screw. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. Okay, so you slip it onto the axle and then you screw that screw on down. Now on the tail wheel you could opt to add a little bit of resistance, so shove that collar on tightly. As you can see, I have not, mine is running freely. It can be an advantage to have a little bit of a brake in the tail wheel, but well, that's mostly a personal thing, so I will not be doing that, as you can probably see. We are actually almost done now. What we'll do now is calibrate our ESC. I'll use a 3S LiPo, not the flight pack, but that doesn't matter. Let's see, I switch on my radio, and on Futaba systems you do need to reverse your throttle channel, channel 3, as in most cases. Okay, so you apply full throttle, then you connect up the LiPo. Two beeps, zero throttle. There you go. And that's your throttle calibrated. Now you can use the motor and obviously check all your control surfaces if they move. Actually, I was wondering if you'd need a reverser, a channel reverser for the two flaps, but you do not. Just use that wire harness, the Y splitter that comes with the plane, and you're good to go. Works like a charm. I've got set mine up on a switch. You could set it up on a slider, of course, but works pretty well. Yep, that's nice. All my control surfaces work. The motor works, the ESC works. Now, then you obviously have to add your propeller to the plane. Now, the propeller has some lettering on it, telling you the size and pitch of the propeller. That lettering is supposed to go to the front of your plane. So I can actually now see the lettering on the propeller. And you just slide it on to the propeller adapter that's already on the motor. Should be an easy fit, but there shouldn't be any slop either. Okay, then you take this here, a ring, and you put a collar, and you put it is tapered on one side. That tapered side goes to the front. There you go. Then you have this spinner, basically a bolt with a bullet thing on it. Okay, you screw that on, and you can maybe you can use the screwdriver to tighten it. Yes, you can actually. That's very convenient. There you go. Make sure this is good and tight. There you go. Decals, yeah, that's basically all that's left. Maybe you will have to adjust a few control surfaces. I'll have to adjust my right aileron down a little. Try to do that as much as you can by adjusting them mechanically, so by shortening the control links. And if you can't really get to a perfectly set up control surfaces, use the trims in your radio. Okie dokie, well, that's basically it for this video. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. That's what my videos are there for. And obviously I hope to be able to fly this plane in the near future. That video will come up shortly, weather permitting. For now I want to thank you for your attention. Thanks for stopping by and hope to see you back in another video. Bye bye.